Hello everyone, this is Vishnu from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering semester and concept video topic for business economics and financial analysis is on trend projection methods of demand forecasting, and let's get started. So what exactly is trend forecasting anyways? So trend projection forecasting is a method which is concerned about a movement of the variables through time with respect to time, and this method requires a long series of data to perform analysis with higher accuracy, and more data means more accuracy. And the trend prediction method is based on the assumptions that the factors liable for the past trends in the variables to be projected shall continue to be the same. So what does this all mean? So trends projection forecasting is nothing but it's a graphical representation of the performance of a particular product or a service. So this will where x-axis be will have the time variable, time factor, and the y on the y-axis we will have the performance factor. So based on that performance, it can be performance, it can be demand, it can be anything. The y variable can change, but x is static, where it only has the time variable or the time factor on the x-axis. So why do we even need these trend forecasting methods? So this method is useful for the companies to come up with or to change any of the ideas or change any of the operations or methods that the company is been following. If there is a high demand and there is no supply, then the company can opt for uh, purchasing land and machinery, or activating machinery, or getting more machinery and raw materials for the development of the product. So these projections, these forecastings will help in company to decide what to and what not to do with the products and with the company itself on a whole. So why more data means more accuracy? So if we have more data on anything, the average would be much more equivalent to the real value. The real value is not something that we know, but real value is nothing but the value which seems to be working, or it is a kind of a value that we can say everything is going well in the market with the help of the product or the service. So, or we can even say that if we take these kind of actions, this would be the output. So this is what the actual thing would be going as planned, and the accuracy is the how likely the thing or the procedure or process would go as planned. So more data would lead to more accuracy, and the trend projections are based on the assumptions that the factors liable for past trends in the variables to be projected shall continue to be the same. This means that, let's say, there are a few static variables and a few volatile variables for an existing product which is successful. So if a company wants to use or wants to introduce a new product, then the company would make these predictions with the same new idea, uh, assuming that these static variables remain static and these volatile variables do maintain their volatility uh, in the tolerable rate, so that the product that the company is going to launch, the new product which the company is going to launch, will be a success as the previous version or the previous product did. So it's assumed that these static variables do remain static. If any one variable do go from static to volatile, then the whole thing would be changed, or there would be no change at all. It all depends on the variable, the type of the variable, and type of impact that variable can have on the, or the, what kind of contribution that hidden variable or that static variable is being adding value maybe to the product. So something like that. So moving on, how it can be done. So this kind of trend analysis is a very old method to analyze the future performance based on the past. So most of the machine learning algorithms do the same, where they learn based on the previous data, and based on that data the future predictions are made, and the amount of data that is been fed into the machine learning model is what yeah based on the amount of data that is been fed into the machine learning model, it will predict the possible outcome. So at initial stages, this is done with the help of maths professionals or PhDs or the one who is into business, who has a very good grip on statistics. Basically, this is what is used for predicting and uh, probability as well. So probability and statistics both. So due to the increase in computational power nowadays, this is done by machine learning algorithms, as I said earlier. So these algorithms are similar to the formulas from the statistics and probability, but with the main advantage is that huge chunks of data, because nowadays in the 21st century, data is everywhere, and there's so much data that one can even imagine of, that has been generated per every second as we progress through time. So these this data, this huge data, can be fed into the machine learning algorithms, and we can expect the accurate measures or the accurate values for what we are achieving for. So, and this is also similar to the normal traditional forecasting, where uh, assuming that the static variables remain static and volatile remain volatile. So this is what is done by the machine learning algorithms nowadays, and this is how it's done, the trend forecasting analysis. And there are three types of projection methods of this analysis. One is graphical, least square, and Box Jenkins. Sorry if I spell that name wrong. So moving on, graphical method. Graphical method is nothing but representation of mathematical data in a 2D lattice or something like that. So that's what graphs actually mean. And the graphical method is nothing but plot data on the 2D space. So the dots which are here, the blue dots, are nothing but the data points or the mathematical data which is represented in this xy plane. So the black line which is crossing the, or which is uh, let's say in middle, similar, uh, highly likely to be in the middle of these data points, is that the predicted line. So how this predicted line even been generated, that's with the help of uh, the multiple calculations that the machine learning algorithm, which is nothing but one of the algorithm which is linear regression, where regression stands for multiple data points as the answers, and classification in the sense it's binary and it depends. Multi-class classification means it is different. So classification basically is that binary, it's yes or no. So since this is since we need accurate results with respect to the time, or we can say mm, or the accurate values that we want to look at. So linear regression is a way to or go to option, and this linear regression machine learning algorithm is used to find out the trend line, and this trend line is generated with the help of the distances which is between these data points. It considers the least distance possible, uh, ranging from this position to this position as the laser pointer goes. So it does check how the data, how much distance is between the data points and the line, and it will also check the distance between data points and the line in this direction. And okay, so yeah, so it will calculate the distance between the points and the line with the help of uh, the formula again. It can be distance between 2 points or distance between the point and the line formulas to predict the distance, and this can be altered with the help of a bias as well. The distance, the position where it has to be, uh, and this is how the graphical method would basically look like and built. So moving on, least square method. This is nothing similar to. This is similar to graphical method as of this, but the main difference is in the error. So error or the loss function. We can call it as a loss function. So these data points are plotted on a graph and a linear best fit line is drawn on the graph. This is similar to linear regression but without any bias. And this square method, least square method function plays a major role so as to analyze how the loss function can be reduced. So, so its basic aim is to reduce the loss function so as to provide perfect um, result, or not perfect but an accurate result would be a correct word to use, accurate. So moving on, Box Jenkins method. So this is also one of the forecasting methods used for short-term predictions and analysis. Uh, but whereas the other two can also be used for long-term, but it doesn't ensure that yes, this would be the long-term performance of any product or service or anything of that sort. So, and Box Jenkins method is used for stationary time series analysis, uh, sales data. Okay, time series in the sense um, it's kind of similar to the real-time analysis of the performance of a product. Uh, and as said earlier, the x variable would be fixed to the time, so or any other axis of that for that matter. And Box Jenkins method do not reveal the long-term predictions. So a few examples for this are ARIMA, ACFPAC, and so on. So what are the drawbacks of this method? So basically there is nothing static. It's just the belief that they would be static at any given point of time. So if those static variables start to be volatile, and then it would lead to something different that's been anticipated or expected before. So as nothing goes, as we know that there is nothing that goes as expected, and if a variable, as said earlier, which may even lead to huge loss for the company, and uh, consequences that would be harsh for the company's future, or something like that. So there may be another variable which is yet to be discovered. So this is also another case, the hidden variables or the variables which are unknown, were likely to be volatile, may or may not be. So if that variable starts to be volatile, or which is volatile but it's not in the trajectory or direction which is as expected, or which it is used to be, then the whole system may fall apart. So these are the major drawbacks of this kind of approach for predicting or analyzing the future of any product or service. And that's it. Thank you.